Today on Cars and Coding, we have a 2011 Subaru Legacy. This fine automobile right here. We're going to be replacing the stock radio with this dual Apple CarPlay Android Auto with backup camera. Check it out. Receiver putting in, it's got Apple CarPlay, it's got Android Auto, it's a dual DMCPA70BT. Let's take it out. Okay, this is the unit here. Got plenty of room for wires in the back. These are the microphone plugs in. So we got to get the brackets on and the wires hooked up. We want to take this bezel off. So what you do, you literally stick your finger in there, you stick your hand in here, kind of make a fist, and watch this. It comes right off. That's it. Phillips head screws. Oh, isn't a Phillips head. And two right there. I think that's all you got to do is take those off. And once you have those four screws out, then the radio just slides right out. Detach the wires in the back. Oh, yeah, okay. So there's a, right on the bottom, this is what you squeeze right here. Same thing with that one. There's one more. This little guy, you just push this little tab right here on the top. See, this antenna wire has two plugs in it, and the new one has one plug in it, like this, in the empty hole, so obviously you don't need that one. And then the interesting thing with this is it's super short, so you have to use an antenna extension on top of it. So I'll have all the parts, all the part numbers in the description. Check it out. This is the install kit I got off of eBay, and it worked really good. So it comes with the surround, the basal surround. It comes with the bracketry, the screws, the radio harness adapter. That's where you solder all the wires to your head unit. This antenna wire, it comes with two of them. You only need this one. Don't worry about that one. And then you need the extension. And this all fit just fine. Everything worked good. And even though in the video I show that I used the factory brackets, I ended up using these plastic brackets. I don't show in the video, but I actually did use those because they clip to the surround, and it actually seems to be more stable. I mean, I think you would be fine with using the factory brackets as well, but since I had them, I ended up using them. So I'll put a link in the video description of this exact kit that you can buy on eBay. This is the this side here came with the radio. This side here is the this is the converter. Then you just match them up, each function together, usually the same color, solder it together, put some shrink wrap tubing on it, and that's it. It's the steering wheel control unit. It's a PAC SWIRC1, And it's basically this unit here, dip switches, plug-in. So one of the plugs is you have to tap into the wiring harness from the factory wiring harness. The other one is just the plug that goes into the back of the radio. Now some aftermarket radios use these wires here and some don't, but basically this plug, the only thing it's for is this. So there's no instructions that come with steering wheel module at all. It just gives you a website to go to, and then you plug in your year, model, make and model, and then what kind of radio. And for the dual, they say use Pioneer. So then I set the dip switches to what it's supposed to be, and then it tells you no further action is needed. This is it's programmed, and you have the dip switches, and so then you have volume up, down, mute, seek, track up, track down, source, voice, answer, and end. And then it tells you on the website, and you can print it obviously, what of the wires you need to hook up. So on the factory harness, which looks like this is the aftermarket side that would plug into the factory harness. It doesn't have the wires that you need. So like for instance, it says you need plug 3. So here 1, 2, 3, there's no wire in there. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one does have a wire. That is power. Okay, so we got power here in the third one. So we're gonna have to connect it to there, and then the fourth one is missing. So I'll have to splice into the factory harness on this side. Now, since we already have power, which is the red one here, right here, which is right here, and I'll solder this red one to the red one on here. So anyway, some of them you can tap into the radio harness directly, and some of them you have to tap into the factory harness because it doesn't have the wires. Steering wheel control switch, you got to hook it up to there's only 2 wires that I had to hook it up to here. Once I had it in the car, there was a let's see, it was a purple and white and a orange and white. So the purple and white went to white, and the orange and white went to a black wire. Okay, this is the USB extension that I bought that I show in the video, and looks like it's $9.50 right now. It could be more or less when you look at it, but I'll have a link to this on the video description. Make sure you click the little down arrow underneath the video to get to the video description. All the links will be there. Alright, so what we did here is there was a little cutout here, and it was the perfect size for this rectangle USB extension. So we cut this out with a razor blade, like a carpet cutter type deal. Little piece of plastic, and then I put the USB connector down in here and through the back here, and it comes out right here, connects to, this is the radio side, this is the extension side. And again, I'll have the part number for this extension in the video description. And then what we did is put the original brackets on the new radio, and I just temporarily put them in with 2 screws. I'll add another 2 screws in there, and I put it up here for just to see if it would fit. I put the cover on, and it looked great. And now we're gonna hook up the wires. One thing to keep in that we have to do here is this blue wire that comes to the radio. This is a 12 volts for a power antenna, power antenna, and this needs to go to this blue and white wire in the harness, in this aftermarket harness, 12 volts, because this car uses a power antenna in the back window. The antenna is actually in the back window, okay, and it uses an amplifier, and I didn't know that, so I didn't hook up that wire. And then I wasn't getting very many radio stations, and they were kind of staticky when you're driving around. And then I did a little more research, and sure enough, it uses a power amplifier. So gotta hook those two up. I'm gonna hook those up, and then I should be done here. So when you hook up two wires together, well, before you twist them together, you take your shrink wrap tubing and you put it on one of the sides and put it down there, so that then when you twist them together, then you can bring this back up and then shrink wrap it. Alright, so now I have the two wires twisted together right here, and I'm going to solder them together. Solder on. We can put the shrink tubing on. Heat it up a little bit. When you pull your camera cord all the way to the front here, you hook it onto right here. It says reverse plus right here. That's where the red power wire goes, and then your camera goes to camera in right here. So I don't have that hooked up right now. I did test it out, everything worked, but now we're going to run the wire to the front. So this is the backup camera that I bought from Amazon. I'll have a link in the video description. So when you get this and you unpack it, it seems like it's not going to fit, but it actually does fit. So I'll show you in the video how it fits. I actually had to take this part, the actual camera part, had to remove it from the lens in order to fit it into the trunk lid. But it does fit in there, and it actually works really, really well. And you don't have to drill any holes for the wires, because the wires just kind of like, there's a hole in the lens and the wires go through it. And see, here is a cutout for probably the factory backup camera. So that's interesting as well. Probably could have went with that type of camera. I did buy a camera that was supposed to fit in here, and I'll show you that real quick. So I bought this camera on eBay, and it was supposed to replace the license plate light. Right, so open the trunk, and we need to take off these little pegs here. So it's pretty easy to get these off using needle nose pliers. You can use a screwdriver, but basically just grab a hold, pop it off like that, go around, do them all like that. See, they kind of expand out. Do all of those. Yeah, there's a little handle up in here that just pops off, and the whole thing just comes down. Alright, so these nuts here are 8mm, and they're not on there very tight. So I take take those off. So here, see where it gets you. Take this light bulb out. What I'll do is just pull up on this, and the whole thing comes off. Okay, and that stays on there. So put that aside. Alright, so I figured out how this specific camera is supposed to fit in here. And you have to take the camera off in order to get it to line up. And then it will line up so that it's like this. So should be fine once I get it all hooked up. So it actually does work in there. It's just a real pain to get everything lined up to get that there. Now I gotta take it all apart in order to get this. I gotta get the wire through here. Okay, so hopefully this gives you an idea of what it looks like when it's installed in here. I mean, this is not installed, this is just laying in here, but ultimately when it's on, it's going to look like this. Alright, so I'm going with this guy, that camera. We're going to see how it works. So what I did is you run the wire down into here. So you got to take this part off. You take this part off. Then what I did was I put the wire onto this stick. I stuck this up in here and I ran the wire down from the very end. That's how I got it all the way through here. So then you got your red and black diagram. Kind of shows you how the backup camera is wired in. You have to you have a negative and a positive. This is the diagram is wrong. It's showing negative to the red, but it's the opposite. And the red would go to your brown wire in the reverse light, and the black goes to a ground screw, and I show that in the video. Other than that, this is the video wire, and this goes all the way from the trunk down to the head unit. And this wire here, you do have to connect that to the wiring harness at the radio. And then you got your long video cable. Now, back in here, you take off this, you just pull this liner thing off. Here, some clips, pull it off, and then you can get to the taillight. Now, in the taillight, you have a brown wire and a black wire. Okay, you want to tap into these splice tap connectors. You need the red one is 22 to 18 gauge. You crimp it onto the brown wire. Okay, then you're going to put your red wire in here and crimp that. Okay, so that'll make the connection. The black wire, we're gonna, I'll just use my test light here. I'm gonna put an end on here and then bolt it down to there. This is a ground, as long as you have it on the metal. So we're gonna do that, and then we'll run this guy all the way up to the front. And right now I have it in reverse, so the light is lit up. I don't know if you can see that. Put the test light on here. Put the test light on there, and I did not close this one yet. There we go. See it light up. So that shows me I have connection to the brown wire, connection to ground. Okay, so here it is all put together. What I kind of tried to do was tilt it so it's slightly towards the driver. As you can see here, I kind of mounted it so it's just slightly angled this way towards the driver, because otherwise we want to get that reflection down as much as possible. I mounted the microphone right here. There's just some sticky tape, to mount it, and then it went to there's a hole in the back of that, goes back up in there. Steering wheel controls work, the volume, as you can see. And the mode button works, and the mute button works. And then you can also change the channels with this button here. So volume and change channels, this all works. Real nice. This car doesn't have Bluetooth, so it doesn't have those functions off the steering wheel. Okay, just to show you the backup camera. Here it is. Looks good. Good picture quality. A video.
Yeah, I know. It's recording.
So here we have the Android Auto running right now, and it works really good. Connects right away and everything. The screen is a little washed out. It's a little hard to read. If you put it in, if I put the lights on, then it goes into night mode. That's a little bit easier to read. And then these lights over here light up. And then that's daytime. That's my only complaint about it. And then the Apple CarPlay, I think, is clearer. We'll show what that looks like as well. But everything's the touch screen. Everything works well. As you can see, my speed. I'm going over the speed limit right now, unfortunately. But everybody's still passing me. Yeah. So overall, this is definitely worth getting for the price. The installation works well, and I'm happy with it. Okay, you can shut it off. Alright, so here's the Apple CarPlay. The screen is a little bit more clear, I would say, than the Android Auto. So if you have an Apple phone, be a little more happy with it. It's a little washed out from the side. Yeah, it gets a little washed out.
I think you can also play music from it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can go to your texts. You can go to...
Wow, you're really exposing everything.
Well, music.
I use Spotify. So.
Alright, I don't know what that means, but... Anyway, apps. Search. Okay. Gas stations. Alright,
it's on my phone, too.
Let's just see if I want to go here. Alright. Go. Then what?
Starting route to Citgo. You can ask Siri to report any accidents or hazards you see along the way. Proceed to Central Avenue, then turn right.
Alright, cool. So it's also on the phone. Alright, cool.
And I can also end it, right? I'm going to end it.
Yeah. Alright, cool. So yeah, everything works on here. What is that part number? DMCPA70BT radio. I got this from Advanced Auto Parts, but I'll put a link to Amazon where you can buy this in the video description. So there you go. This is a 2011 Subaru Legacy.